Today, Major League Baseball is about to look a whole lot different. I've taken all 6 divisions in baseball and wiped them completely clean. I then put all 30 MLB teams on this wheel and had it randomly reassign them to a new division. So let's take a look at the new Major League Baseball. Starting it off with the American League East, we have the Kansas City Royals, followed up by the New York Mets, the Cleveland Guardians, the Washington Nationals, and lastly, the Chicago Cubs. Moving it over to the AL Central, we have the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros, the San Francisco Giants, the Cincinnati Reds, and the St. Louis Cardinals. And finishing out the American League with the West, we have the Colorado Rockies, the Minnesota Twins, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Chicago White Sox, and the Tampa Bay Rays. And now we move over to the National League side of things. Starting with the East, we have the San Diego Padres, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Los Angeles Angels, the Detroit Tigers, and lastly, the Las Vegas Athletics. Yes, for the sake of this video, I decided to go ahead and put them in Las Vegas. Now heading to the NL Central, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Atlanta Braves, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Seattle Mariners, and the Texas Rangers. And that just leaves our final division, the National League West, starting it off with the Milwaukee Brewers. Next up is the Philadelphia Phillies. Then we have the Baltimore Orioles, the Miami Marlins, and lastly, of course, the New York Yankees. So take a look at the new Major League Baseball. This should be a lot of fun, man. I think the new division that I am most excited about has to be this new NL Central with the Dodgers, Braves, Blue Jays, Mariners, and Rangers. All 5 teams here are ranked within the top 12 according to MLB The Show. This division is going to be a powerhouse. And then on the complete other side of that, you have the American League West, a division that features the Rockies, the White Sox, and the Pirates. Not to mention, you also have the Twins, who just had a complete fire sale at the deadline. I'm going to be shocked if the Rays don't win this division by 10 games. The AL Central could also be a lot of fun, particularly with the storyline between the Red Sox and the Giants now being in the same division. The NL West is also pretty good. You got the Brewers, who are killing it in real life right now. You've got the Phillies, and you've got the Yankees. Now, I will say, this video took quite a long time to set up, because not only did I have to move all of these rosters around, all to specific spots to make sure they actually fit and landed in the division they were supposed to be in, but I also had to go through and relocate every single team in order to get them to be in the division they're supposed to be in. So that means I had to go through and redo each team's home and away jersey to try to get it to look like it actually does in real life. They're not all perfect. I did the best that I could. MLB The Show's jersey creator does have some limitations. Like for the Blue Jays, I did the best that I could, but it doesn't look exactly like their jersey does in real life. But I tried my best, okay? So I would appreciate if you guys dropped a like on the video for the amount of time it took to get this thing set up. Will there be teams that just dominate their divisions for the next few years? Will some of these new structures make it difficult for teams to get back to the playoffs or just get there altogether? We're about to find out. Let's get into it. So let's start things off in the American League East, where the Chicago Cubs won the division with 104 wins, which also gives them the best record in the entire American League. Also making the playoffs from this division is the New York Mets, finishing with 93 wins. And a big reason why they were able to make the playoffs is the fact that Juan Soto put up an MVP season. And the Kansas City Royals were also able to get a playoff spot, finishing with 83 wins, good for a wild card berth. Now moving over to the American League Central, the Red Sox would take this division with 91 wins, but the Astros were also able to get in with an 83 win season, good for a wild card spot. And over in the American League West, no surprise here, the Tampa Bay Rays won the division by 10 games. I'm gonna be shocked if the Rays don't win this division by 10 games. They were led by the Cy Young winner Ryan Pepio, and they also made a move at the trade deadline, acquiring Tyler O'Neill, who finished with 38 home runs on the season. But dude, the American League wildcard was kind of crazy. 3 teams tied with the same record for the last 2 wildcard spots. And unfortunately for the Reds, they lost the tiebreaker. So the Astros and Royals were the teams that got in. And I do kind of feel bad for the St. Louis Cardinals because they only finished 1 game out of that wild card. I don't know if they would have been in on the tiebreaker, but they also made a big trade this year, acquiring Lawrence Butler from the A's, and they sent over JJ Weatherholt and Jordan Walker. And I mean, hey, Lawrence Butler had a decent year with 16 homers, 62 RBIs, a 288 average. But unfortunately for them, it just wasn't enough. Now let's move over to the National League, where the Detroit Tigers win the East with 99 wins. The Arizona Diamondbacks also get a postseason spot as a wild card with a 93-win season. And the Padres also finished with a wild card spot, finishing 86 and 76. Then moving over to the NL Central, surprisingly, the Dodgers were the only team that made it from this division. They finished with 99 wins on the year. They also made a trade with the Angels to acquire Joe Adell, and he finished with 30 homers on the season. God, this just looks so wrong. But dude, this is the division that I was most excited about. I thought we were going to see at least 2 or 3 teams make the postseason from this division, and we only had one. The Mariners finished under 500. The Rangers finished under 500. But then we move over to the National League West, where the New York Yankees not only finished with the best record in the NL, but the best record in all of baseball with 106 wins. And a main reason for that is Aaron Judge not only winning MVP, but also winning the Triple Crown. But there was another award in this division. Zach Wheeler won Cy Young as the Phillies got a wild card spot with a 92-win season. And looking at the wild card, man, it wasn't really that close. I'm kind of surprised the Blue Jays and the Brewers weren't closer. They made a big move at the deadline, where Bryce Terang was sent to the Blue Jays in a package that returned Addison Barger. But yeah, neither team was really all that close to getting in the playoffs. But quickly taking a look at some of the league leaders here in the AL, Ellie led the league in batting average at 327. He also led the AL in doubles with 50 and triples with 17. Damn. He did only finish with 28 homers, so he was close to a 30-30 season, but not quite there. Isaac Paredes and Juan Soto led the American League in home runs with 42. And I'm looking at a lot of the pitchers in the American League who finished with the top ERAs, with Shota Imanaga a 2.35, Skeens with a 2.54, Joe Ryan 2.56. Kind of makes me wonder how Ryan Pepio actually won the Cy Young with an ERA over 3. But now over in the AL, of course, for the offensive side of things, Aaron Judge led in pretty much everything. Once again, he did get the Triple Crown, 52 homers, 125 RBIs. He tied with Schwarber, but hey, that's still the #1 spot. And even though Zach Wheeler wasn't #1 in ERA or #1 in strikeouts, he was still near the top of the list in most of these categories, so I think this was a fair award to give out. Rookie of the Year, we got Drake Baldwin, we got Carlos Narvaez. Hank Aaron Award went to Ellie De La Cruz and Aaron Judge. And Reliever of the Year, we have Danny Coulomb and Dennis Santana. But now we can finally jump to the postseason. In the AL wildcard, the Houston Astros would knock off Juan Soto and the Mets to move on to the DS to face the Cubs. And the 6th seed Kansas City Royals would beat the Tampa Bay Rays to move on to face the Boston Red Sox. Now over in the NL, the Philadelphia Phillies would handle the Arizona Diamondbacks pretty easily, and the San Diego Padres beat the division champion Detroit Tigers to move on to the NLDS, which gives them a matchup with the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Padres matching up in the postseason, man. We can't avoid it. But jumping back to the American League now, the Chicago Cubs beat the Houston Astros in 4 games, and the Kansas City Royals sweep the Boston Red Sox, so the ALCS matchup is set between the Royals and the Cubs. And over in the National League, the Philadelphia Phillies would upset their division rival New York Yankees in 5 games, and the Dodgers beat the Padres in 5 as well to set up a Dodgers versus Philly matchup. And now it's time to find out who's going to the World Series. In the American League, the Chicago Cubs would have no problems with the Kansas City Royals sweeping that series, and it would be completely different in the NL as the Dodgers win in 7 over the Phillies, setting up our World Series matchup between the Cubs and the Dodgers. Kind of just want to check out the box score here, or the game log of this game on Game 7, because it was a 1-0 game. The Dodgers scored in the 4th inning, and that was it. They had Zach Wheeler on the mound. He gave up 1 run in Game 7, but the Phillies just couldn't score. How did they get their run? It was a home run by Max Muncy. Wow. Hey, you got to give Shohei Ohtani credit. 7 innings with 11 strikeouts. But now it's time to see who wins the World Series, man. Let's get it started. Game 1 goes to the Dodgers, 2-0. Game 2 goes to the Cubs. They tie up the series. Game 3 goes to the Dodgers. Game 4 also goes to the Dodgers. They're up 3-1. Tied at 2 here in Game 5. Bottom 3, 2 on, 2 out, full count. And Teoscar strikes out. That's a big-time strikeout from Justin Steele. And now the Cubs have the lead, and they have bases loaded with Kyle Tucker at the plate. And that's going to be a ground out to end the inning. Jo Adell, 2-run home run. Oh, my God. Is he really about to be the World Series hero for the Dodgers? That gave them the lead in the bottom of the 6th. No way. Oh, yeah, Will Smith adds another run. And now Shohei has 2 on with nobody out. I mean, that was a hanging pitch. How did Shohei not hit that 500 feet? Teoscar, I mean, that's going to be deep enough to get a run in. The Dodgers extend their lead. And now with 2 outs in the 9th inning, the Dodgers are just 1 out away from getting another World Series championship. And Seiya Suzuki strikes out on a slider. The Dodgers win again. Even with all of these divisions being randomized, every team basically in a new place, the Dodgers and this roster still reign supreme. But hey, we still have 2 more years left in this sim. We'll see if somebody can take them down. Now, I'm about to go check World Series MVP. Please tell me it is anybody but Jo Adell. I cannot stomach Jo Adell being World Series MVP for the Dodgers. It's Shohei Ohtani, thank goodness. But now let's jump into the offseason and see where some players are going to end up. And we have our first big piece of offseason news. The Phillies re-signed Kyle Schwarber 3 years, $59.5. Wow, the Houston Astros go out and get Josh Naylor. The Mets pick up Framber Valdez. They add to their rotation. The Blue Jays make a splash, picking up Michael King on a 7-year contract. Wow. The Marlins sign a big contract. They give Bo Bichette a 6-year deal. Oh man, Devin Williams goes to the Dodgers. It looks like his simulation stats are a little bit better than what he's putting up in real life right now. Do I see Trent Grisham getting a 7-year, $170 million contract right now? For the Royals, that's big money. Look at the Rays spending some change, dude. Ranger Suarez. Whoa. Jackson Jobe for Marcelo Myers straight up. Wow. What is this? The A's trade Jacob Wilson to the Braves for Ronaldo Lopez and Jurickson Profar? I'm pretty sure Ronaldo Lopez just had a good year in this sim, so like, I get it, you're getting a good pitcher. But Jacob Wilson? Looks like the Cubs aren't giving up on their window, signing Dylan Cease to a 5-year deal. Dustin May gets a 4-year contract with the Royals. Wait, did Kyle Tucker ever sign? I feel like I didn't see Kyle Tucker go anywhere. Oh, I guess Kyle Tucker signed a contract, but they just didn't want to put that in? Maybe he signed an extension during last season or something? I have no idea. Now, making our way to the end of season 2, we'll once again start with the AL East, and this division would belong to the Kansas City Royals. They not only won the division with 98 wins, they also clinched the best record in the American League, and the New York Mets were also able to make it back to the postseason as a wild card team with an 86-win season. Now, one thing I found surprising is that the Cubs were pretty bad. They finished 10 games under 500, and it got so bad to the point where they had to trade away Seiya Suzuki. And that leads me right into the next division, the NL Central, where the Boston Red Sox were the division champions. And they were the team that picked up Seiya Suzuki from the Cubs. And he was a great pickup as he hit 24 homers and drove in 90. But it wasn't just Seiya Suzuki. They also had an MVP season from Alex Bregman, as well as a Cy Young campaign from Garrett Crochet. But even with all of that going on for the Red Sox, the Houston Astros still only finished 1 game behind. They get a wild card spot with 94 wins. And the Cincinnati Reds were also able to make it as a wild card team with 86 wins. I gotta talk about the Giants though, because they finished 12 games under, dead last in this division, but they were buyers this year. They not only gave up 3 players to the Brewers to get Rhys Hoskins, but they also made another big trade to pick up Brent Rooker. They gave away a lot to get 2 power bats, who granted were very good. Brent Rooker had 42 homers and Rhys Hoskins had 26. But yeah, I mean, they finished 20 games out of the division. But now we move to the most surprising division this year, year, the AL West, where this division belongs to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They finished with 90 wins, 10 games ahead of the Minnesota Twins. The Pirates won the division by 10 games. That's crazy. Paul Skeens finished third in Cy Young voting. He put the team on his back this year. And then as far as the wild card, 3 teams finished 6 games out, so it kind of feels like this wild card was set like a week before the season ended. The Twins went out and made a trade to get Christian Yelich, and he had a decent season with 23 homers and 22 steals, but yeah, it just wasn't enough to get there. Now heading over to the National League, we'll start with the East, where the Padres finished with 96 wins to take that division, and the Arizona Diamondbacks were able to make it back to the postseason with an 89-win wild card berth. Now for the NL Central, we have 3 teams that made it. This is what I was expecting. The Blue Jays won the division with 94 wins. They made a big move at the deadline, getting Cade Smith for their bullpen, and he finished tied for the league lead in saves in the National League. The defending champion Dodgers finished right behind them, 1 game out. They did that on the back of a Shohei Ohtani MVP season, as well as a Blake Snell Cy Young campaign. But the Seattle Mariners only finished 1 game behind the Dodgers. That's good for a wild card. And that just leaves the National League West, where we have, once again, the New York Yankees winning the division and taking home the best record in MLB again. Now, the National League wildcard kind of looks the same as the American League. The team that finished behind the third place team was 6 games out. Similar to the Twins, the Tigers did make a move, getting Addison Barger, but they gave up Max Clark and Jace Young. And Barger, similar to Yelich for the Twins, was good, but just not enough to get them over the hump. But now just a quick look at some of the awards. Shohei Ohtani took home another NL MVP. Alex Bregman took it home in the AL. Cy Young, we know, is Garrett Crochet and Blake Snell. Rookie of the Year is Hyesung Kim for the Dodgers. I don't know how he was eligible to be a rookie, but I guess he had enough, or didn't have enough in 2025, I guess. And AL Rookie of the Year is Luis Miranda of the Nationals. I think this guy was like a generational draft pick for them. Yeah, 2025 round 1. 18 years old. This guy's insane. And the Hank Aaron Awards in both leagues goes to Trent Grisham of the Royals, 33 homers on the year, and Fernando Tatis Jr., 1 short of 40. Now, I just want to get a quick look at some of these league leaders, see if anybody did anything insane this year. Shohei led the league in home runs with 41. Bregman led with 43. Ellie had 43 stolen bases. Bryce Terang had a 50 steal season. He was traded in the last season. Edwin Diaz had 53 saves for the Mets, man. But now we can go ahead and get into this postseason bracket. Starting it off in the AL wildcard, the Cincinnati Reds swept the Houston Astros. Remember, the Astros had 94 wins. That's an upset in this division. Meanwhile, the Pirates' dream season comes to an end as the New York Mets move on. We have a big upset in the National League wildcard as the Mariners knock off the defending champion Dodgers in 3 games. And they did it in extra innings. Tanner Scott blew it for the Dodgers. I feel like no Dodgers fans are surprised right now. Meanwhile, the Toronto Blue Jays would also get bounced out of the playoffs in the first round as the D-backs move on. And now heading into the division series in the AL, the Cincinnati Reds remain undefeated in the postseason, beating the Royals, the 1 seed in the AL. They had 98 wins. Meanwhile, the Red Sox, led by their MVP and Cy Young, sweep the New York Mets to move on to the championship series. Over in the NLDS, even after beating the Dodgers, the Mariners would not be able to take out the Yankees. They lost in 3 games. But the Arizona Diamondbacks take out their division rival San Diego Padres to move on. So our championship series matchups are set. The Cincinnati Reds versus the Red Sox in the ALCS, with the Yankees and D-backs in the NLCS. It's time to find out what our World Series matchup will be. The Cincinnati Reds pull it off again, a sweep of the Boston Red Sox. They are 9-0 in the postseason. Meanwhile, the Yankees also sweep in their championship series to move on. So we have a Reds versus Yankees World Series. Dude, before we get there, I just gotta see. It looks like the normal Reds roster. They have Ellie, who's up to a 98, but it doesn't seem like they went out and made any crazy move that I can't remember. They're just the team of destiny right now. Meanwhile, for the Yankees, it looks like their normal roster as well. Aaron Judge, Max Fried, Rodon, Jazz, Cody Bellinger. I know Emilio Pagan has had a good year out of the bullpen for them. I think he had 48 saves or something this year. Yeah, 47 saves. So this should be good, dude. Reds versus Yankees. Let's go. Game 1 in the Bronx goes to the Yankees. They hand the Reds their first loss of the postseason. Game 2 also goes to the Yankees. They've scored 10 runs in each of the first 2 games. Game 3 also goes to the Yankees. The Cinderella run might be over. Can the Reds stay alive, or will the Yankees take home another World Series championship, this time as a National League team? Aaron Judge, solo home run in the first inning. And now Ben Rice is a guy on second. He could blow this game open here in the first. Or he's just going to go down looking. Nice. But the Reds have a chance to answer back here in the third inning. Ellie is up with 2 guys on and 2 out. And Ellie is going to cash in. A base hit up the middle. That should tie this game. And hey, Will Benson could add more right here. Oh, and he pops up. What a horrible way to end that rally. But Jazz answers back with a 2-run home run. This Yankees offense is just relentless. But once again, the Reds could answer back. A curveball away got Matt McClain. I know it's only the 5th inning, but if Judge could deliver here, I feel like that honestly might be the dagger. But he goes down on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Ian Jabot. And he also gets Jazz. What a job by the dude from Great Britain. Oh, Austin Wells. A 2-run blast. It's 5-1. Okay, hold on. TJ Friedl, 2-run shot. Cuts the deficit to 2. But the Yankees get a run in the 9th. Jazz takes a walk. It's loaded in the 9th. And now it's 3-2 on Ben Rice. Surely they're not going to walk in a run. You might get a double play. The throw is offline. The Yankees add another run. Oh, no. That lead was going to be tough to come back from anyway, but... Oh, hold on. Hey, the Cincinnati Reds have already gotten a run in the bottom of the 9th, though. And TJ Friedl is up. I think he has a 2-run home run in this game already. They just got to try to get to Ellie's spot in the lineup. Oh, hold on, Friedl. He can't beat it. Gavin Lux. They're going to get Ellie a shot. This is the guy you want at the plate right now. The opportunity is in their hands. Oh, my God. Ellie De La Cruz. 2 outs. 2 strikes, 2 outs. He keeps their hopes alive. I told you, they just had to get to his spot in the order. Oh my God. That was insane. We're on to extra innings. Luke Raley single, Trevino single, Jenkins out, Brian Hayes out. We're on to the 11th. And that's the double play. Ellie makes the throw. Gavin Lux, pop up, Ellie, fly out. We're on to the 12th. Bro, what is this game? How did the Yankees let this happen? They literally gave up 4 in the bottom of the 9th. Trevino out. Jenkins, 2-out single. Hayes with a walk. Base is loaded. Come on, Rhys Hines. Let your team see one more day. I hope they lose now. Lux walk. Ellie fly out. Come on. Who wants to be the hero? Aaron Judge out. Jazz out. Ben Rice, 2-out hit. Bellinger, it's 1st and 3rd. Wells. There it is. But somebody got thrown out. They did get the run. Here we go. Trevino, single. Jenkins, strikeout. Brian Hayes out. It is up to Matt McClain. That is a perfect swing right to Volpe at shortstop. And just like that, the New York Yankees win the World Series. Oh, man, that was crazy. I'm not going to lie. I was rooting for the Reds after the Ellie home run, but the Rhys Hines strikeout on the slider above his eyeballs, I mean, that to me was so disgusting. At that point, I didn't even want him to win. That was so bad. But hey, man, the Yankees had the best record in baseball going into this postseason. And Aaron Judge is now a World Series champion. And World Series MVP does belong to Aaron Judge. He hit .550 in the World Series. He showed up when it mattered. But now looking at the bracket, I was so impressed with the Cincinnati Reds run, having an undefeated postseason up until the World Series. I didn't even realize the Yankees also went undefeated. They swept the Mariners, swept the D-backs, and swept the Reds. They went 11-0 in the postseason. Let's get into the offseason going into Season 3. And we have our first big move. Cody Bellinger leaves the Yankees to go to the Toronto Blue Jays on a 6-year deal. The Tigers get Jack Flaherty back on a 5-year contract. The Pirates signed their reliever Dennis Santana to a big 5-year contract. Good for them. Whoa, Tarek Skubal to the D-backs, 10 years or 9 years, $390. $43.4 million a year. Wow. Dalton Varsho, 6-year contract with the Guardians for $150 million. The Tigers add to their rotation even more, getting Freddie Peralta on a 4-year contract. The Phillies trade Kyle Schwarber to the Mariners. The Red Sox sign Ha-Seong Kim to a 6-year contract. Sean Murphy has been traded to the Miami Marlins. The Braves make another big trade, sending Spencer Strider to the Rangers for Kumar Rocker and Marcus Semien. That's a big signing for the Yankees right there. Jazz Chisholm Jr., 8 years, $212 million. He's coming off a 36 home run season at age 29. Chris Bubich gets a 6-year, $270 million deal. Damn. He's getting more AAV than Skubal. Granted, Skubal hasn't beat by another like 120 million overall, but still. Jesus Luzardo gets a 6-year deal with the Giants, $200 million. And that's it for the off-season moves. Here we go with Season 3. So with Season 3 at a close, we'll start again with the AL East, where we have the Washington Nationals winning 96 games to take the division and the best record in the American League. The Royals have made it back to the postseason as a wild card team with 92 wins. And the Mets also finished with 92 wins. They even grabbed William Contreras from the Brewers to help on their run back to the postseason. Now, over in the American League Central, the Boston Red Sox win the division with 94 wins. And for the second year in a row, Alex Bregman wins MVP. We finally have the Giants making the postseason in this sim, finishing with 91 wins. And that'll be the first time that Rafael Devers has made the postseason since that trade. And unfortunately for the Reds, they won 87 games, but not quite good enough to get back to the postseason. So we're not going to see a Cinderella run from them. And then heading to the American League West, we have the Minnesota Twins back on top, finishing with only 84 wins, but that would be good for a division title. And I do feel bad for the Pirates, man. They were almost back. They finished just 1 game out of the division, and they finished the season on a 4-game winning streak, while the Twins finished on a 4-game losing streak. Literally 1 game could have been the difference for them. And it was a Paul Skeens Cy Young season as well. That's tough for the Pirates. As far as the wild card, not much to talk about here. It was a 4-game difference between the third place team and the first cutoff, but there's plenty to talk about with the National League, starting with the East, as the Diamondbacks win the division with only 86 wins, but that Skubal signing in the offseason really helped out. The Padres were also able to get into the postseason with 84 wins, and they made a big move picking up Emmanuel Clase at the deadline, and he ended up winning Reliever of the Year in the National League. Then we have the NL Central, where the Dodgers are back on top. They win the division with 90 wins. It's a second straight Shohei Ohtani MVP season, as well as Yamamoto picking up a Cy Young award. The Braves finally get into the postseason with 88 wins. They're a wild card team. And same with the Blue Jays. 88 wins is good enough for a postseason berth. And lastly, that leaves the National League West again, and for the 3rd year in a row in this sim, the New York Yankees win the division and secure the best record in all of baseball. 102 wins. The defending champs are looking to repeat. And with the wild card, this was actually crazy because the Padres and the Marlins finished with the same record. They both had 84 wins. The Padres won the tiebreaker, but this is actually heartbreaking for the Marlins as they lost 2 in a row to end the season. The Padres won 5 in a row to get in. But if we take a look at who the Marlins lost to, they lost their last 2 games to the Brewers. And they were the 2nd worst team in the National League with only 67 wins. That's a tough way to end the season for the Marlins. Now, quick look at some awards. Of course, Shohei Ohtani won back-to-back MVPs. Same with Alex Bregman over in the AL. Cy Young is Paul Skeens and Yamamoto. We already know that. Shohei wins the Hank Aaron Award. James Wood wins it in the American League. That's fun. Jason Dominguez led the NL in batting average at .335. Jake Myers led it in the AL with .336. Jake Myers also had 193 hits. What is this Jake Myers not even a resurgence. What is this breakout? Bro, at a 907 OPS. Jeremy Pena hit 48 doubles. Xavier Edwards also 48 doubles. Ellie had 17 triples. Oh my God. Shohei led the NL with 48 home runs. We have James Wood in the AL with only 36. Michael Garcia led the AL in stolen bases. Really? All right, yeah. No, I mean, he stole 47. He stole 52 in 2025. I guess I didn't even see that. And Bryce Terang leads the NL again with 45. All right, but I think it's time to go ahead and get into the postseason for this final year of the video. Starting it off in the AL wildcard, the Kansas City Royals beat the New York Mets in 3 games to move on. And the Minnesota Twins handle the Giants easily, so they move on to play Boston. In the National League wildcard, the Blue Jays beat the Braves to move on. And Arizona beats the Padres in 2 games, so we have our division series matchups now set. In the AL, the Washington Nationals, the 1 seed, easily beat the Kansas City Royals, whereas the Boston Red Sox beat the Minnesota Twins in 4 games. So we have a Nationals Red Sox ALCS. Over in the NL, the Toronto Blue Jays pull off the upset, beating the Yankees in 5 games. Damn, this went to 13 innings as well. The Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the top of the 13th. The Yankees couldn't answer. They will not be the defending champions. And the Los Angeles Dodgers barely beat the Diamondbacks in 5 games. So we have our final 4 here, the Nationals and Red Sox with the Blue Jays and Dodgers. And over in the AL, the Red Sox easily beat the Washington Nationals in 4 games. And the Dodgers handle the Toronto Blue Jays in 6 games to give us a Red Sox versus Dodgers World Series. Can't lie, I was kind of hoping for something a little bit different, but hey, this is just the way the sim turned out. Would have been sick to see something like Toronto and Washington, or even Toronto and Boston in the World Series. The Dodgers are boring. And here we are in Fenway Park. This series is going to a Game 7. The home team has won every single game in this series. Boston has Garrett Crochet on the mound, the Cy Young winner from last season, but the Dodgers have the Cy Young winner from this season, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, on the bump. Plus, they have the MVP Shohei Ohtani. I mean, what more can you ask for? Let's see how this goes. And right off the rip, the Dodgers are getting after Crochet. Ohtani is up with 2 on and 1 out. And Ohtani whiffs on the sweeper. Crochet isn't out of the woods yet. He's got to get through Andy Pajes. That was right down the middle. They were playing deep, but he's going to make that play. Crochet and the Red Sox escape an early jam. The Dodgers are threatening again, though. They have Miguel Vargas. I don't know when they got him back, but hey, things have come full circle for him, and he's back on the Dodgers. He strikes out on 99 in the zone. Mookie up now in Boston. I feel like this would be devastating for the home crowd if he could come through for the Dodgers. But Mookie strikes out. Garrett Crochet continues to work out of these jams. Abreu, solo home run. The Red Sox are on top. Still just a 1-run game, though. Ohtani is leading off the 6th. And Crochet gets him. And now Boston has an opportunity to extend their lead. They have the MVP at the plate. This is the MVP versus the Cy Young. Bregman, that ball is going foul. No way they turn 2 on this. No way. They got the MVP to hit into a double play. That is nuts. It remains a 1-run ball game after 6. Hold on, though. Top 7. They got runners on the corners for Mookie. Oh, Mookie. That's 95 right in the zone, dude. And that's it for Crochet. They're taking him out. Why? They're bringing in David Bednar, but I think Freddie's coming up. They really didn't want the lefty-lefty matchup, huh? And what do you know? David Bednar allows a run. We are tied in Game 7. I would have stuck with Crochet right there. He might have been high on the pitch count, but it's Game 7 of the World Series. He got 7 strikeouts in this one. And you got a lefty-lefty matchup. I don't know about that move. They are going to get out of the inning, though. Still tied at 1. We are officially in the 9th inning. 1-1. This is crazy. Joe Waddell leading off the inning here. Ground out. Tommy Edman ground out. Miguel Vargas ground out. Can the Red Sox walk this off in the bottom of the 9th? Jarren Duran, walk. Kim, fly out. I gotta see Bregman's AB here. Devin Williams is on the mound for the Dodgers. It's not a double play. That runner is moved over to second base, and now Tristan Casas can be the hero. There's 2 outs. That's not going to get the job done. We're going to extras in Game 7. I mean, what more can you ask for here, dude? Oh, Freddie Freeman double. You got Will Smith and then Shohei Ohtani. This is a dangerous part of the order. Will Smith pops it up. That play is made. Now, honestly, I don't even know if you pitch to Ohtani here. I feel like you walk him and you just take your chance with Andy Pages. They're going to pitch to him. Is that ball leaving? Or is that going to stay in? It's going to leave. Why would you pitch to Ohtani in that situation? He is the back-to-back MVP of the National League. You have first base open. How do you give him anything to hit right there? I don't get it. The go-ahead run is already at second. You already have the go-ahead run in scoring position. That just makes no sense to me. Let's see, though. It's not over yet. The Red Sox do have a guy on first. Willie Abreu at the plate. He did have a home run earlier in this game. Oh, and he strikes out on 97 in. It's going to come down to Miguel Amaya. Full count. 2 outs. Hold on a second. This game's not over. It's first and second. Romy Gonzalez is coming in off the bench. He's had a great postseason. Oh my God, this is crazy. Here we go. 3-2 count now. And he pops it up. That's a great pitch from Tanner Scott. And that is going to do it here in Fenway. The Dodgers are once again World Series champions. Shohei Ohtani hits the biggest home run of his entire career. I still can't believe the Red Sox pitched to him there. I'm happy for Joe Adell, though. 2-time World Series champion. Oh, Freddie Freeman is World Series MVP. Really? Not Shohei Ohtani? Oh, Shohei was the postseason MVP, but Freddie Freeman was the World Series MVP. Nice. Well, there we go, guys. 3 seasons with MLB's divisions being randomized, and the World Series champions were the Yankees and the Dodgers twice. Who saw that coming?